Welcome back to One and Done. I'm Max, the guy who shows you how to make just one serving of something. We're gonna make a little turkey roulade with enough to eat the next day. First thing we gotta do is just make a quick stuffing for our roulade. So let's get into it. We're gonna go onion, celery, garlic, classic. You want chunks about the same size as your onion. We've got a skillet going here, going with a little bit of olive oil and a good amount of butter. This is what Thanksgiving is all about. We're gonna go in with our celery and onion first. And once that's sauteed down a little bit, we'll go in with our garlic. Hit it with a good pinch of salt. This will draw out the moisture. And I like to go with some nice black pepper. Now we're gonna go with the classic herb mix, sage, thyme, and rosemary. And you can chop this up by hand, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it right in a food processor. Some nice sage leaves. Get you some rosemary. Nobody wants to bite into a big chunk of rosemary. We've got dried thyme, that works too. And let it rip. We got our herbs ready to go. We're gonna go in with our garlic here and just throw this in here for about 30 seconds to a minute until it's nice and fragrant. You don't wanna burn the garlic, that's key here. Give it a little mix. I've got a day-old baguette here. It's nice and crispy and dried out. We're just gonna cut this up. If you have fresh bread, go ahead and pop it in the oven at like a really low heat and just let it dry out. Get it nice and crispy. Normally I like a really chunky stuffing, but since we're gonna be rolling this up into a turkey breast, we want it to be a little bit smaller than normal. I'm gonna go to the veg with our herbs here and just like warm it through a little bit before we go into the bread. Once it's smelling really good in your kitchen, go ahead and just dump this right into your bread. We're gonna go in with a little flat leaf parsley here. Now we want 1 egg. You would do 2 if you're doing this for like a group of people, but it's just us, baby. Now a little bit of stock. We got chicken stock here. You can do turkey stock, vegetarian stock, whatever you want to do. Say about half a cup. And I just want to fold everything together. A little bit more salt and some black pepper, but you can put whatever you want in this, honestly. Like some fennel would probably be really good in here. It's totally up to you. Now, speaking of up to you, I'm going into some cranberries. I feel like some people might think this is a little bit weird, but you know, we're doing like an all-in-one Thanksgiving situation here, so you gotta have a little bit of that cranberry sweetness in this. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go with some dried cranberries in this bad boy. A little pop of sweetness is gonna be really good in this, I think. Now we're just gonna set our stuffing aside and grab our turkey breast. I just went to a butcher and asked him for a turkey breast, bone out, skin on. This thing's been sitting in the fridge overnight with a little bit of salt on this baking sheet to pull out some of the moisture. So we're just gonna pat it dry. That's gonna help you get that really crispy skin on the outside. Now, normally I would say if it was a thick breast, butterfly this thing, open it up and pound it out. But this thing's kind of thin already. So really all I'm gonna do is just pound this out with a rolling pin or like a meat mallet if you got one. And we're gonna get it pretty much as thin as we can so we can just roll it up nice and tight. It's flat. We're just gonna go ahead and flip her over like this. Season the inside of this turkey here. And black pep. All right, now turkey is notoriously a dry bird, especially the breast. So we're gonna go in with a lot of butter. Don't come at me for this. Turkey needs butter. That's just what we're gonna do. The best way to do this, in my opinion, is to use a really cold butter, keep it in the freezer for a little bit, and a cheese grater, and just go ahead and grate it right on. And now we'll go in with our stuffing here. You want to really kind of crumble it. You don't want any super thick pieces. Perfect. Now we're gonna roll this bad boy up. This part's a little bit tricky. Just try and roll it as tight as possible. Have your kitchen twine ready. Have some shears ready. Let's go. It's gonna get a little messy, but that's okay. Don't worry about making this thing look amazing. You're cooking alone. This is for you. Just make it look good for you. We're gonna get a big piece of twine here. We're just gonna wrap this bad boy. Slide it under. Our turkey's wrapped up. It looks okay. It's a little bit messy, but it's gonna be delicious no matter what. So we're just gonna go ahead and just lift it up. It's okay if we lose a little stuffing and go onto this little rack here. Right into this pan, we're gonna go ahead and add some stock so the drippings don't burn in the bottom of the pan. You could just do this with water too if you want, or like a cider beer would be really good. Doesn't look like much now, but when this thing comes out of the oven, it's gonna be delicious. Every oven's different, so we just want this to an internal temp of 150. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in a 375 convection oven. It's probably gonna take about an hour, but we're gonna test it every 20 minutes or so. This guy's been going for about 20 minutes. We're just gonna baste it with a little bit of melted butter here. kind of optional, but the more butter, the better, honestly. It's Thanksgiving after all. Now back in till it hits 150 internal. It's been about an hour. We're gonna pull it out and see what we got. Whew. Yeah, baby. Perfectly golden brown. While this guy's still hot, we're gonna go ahead and pull this, set her aside and let this guy rest for about 15 minutes. And while this is still hot, we're just gonna deglaze it with a little water. You could use stock too. You want all those good brown bits, not necessarily like the black burnt bits, but the dark brown ones are great. Just strain this into here. We're gonna make a really simple pan dripping gravy here. We're gonna slowly whisk in flour till this gets nice and thick. If it gets a little too thick, just add a little bit of cold chicken stock. Everybody likes their gravy a little bit different. Some people like it super thick, some people like it super thin. I like it just about like this where you can coat the back of a spoon. Here, you can see this? That's what you're looking for. That is good. Let's get a slice of this bad boy and see what we're working with. Woo! A little turkey, a little stuffing. How can you go wrong? Now let's give this bad boy a shot here. You got the stuffing, the cranberries, the gravy, the turkey, all rolled up into one little thing. This is a perfect Thanksgiving for one or for two, or one with leftovers. I really hope you guys do this one. If you like this series, be sure to like and subscribe and check out the links on the screen for more.